Good afternoon from the Hostage Diaries. Today I'm going to talk about the Louisiana meat market and what's actually been going on. The best way to describe it is to emancipate the accountability and then figure out the balance sheet. The best way to do it, the most optimal method is just tear down the walls to the bank and emancipate the accounts into freedom. It would be like I said, leaving the bank vault wide open. And basically what's going on is the assets or the resources of the bank have been usurped through many methods. I'm using legal and illegal practices, but basically what they're doing is it's the full moon effect where they turn around, they ignore the bank itself while they're worshiping the accounts, the individual accounts, because of brainwashing or whatever misnomer. I mean, it's the full moon effect, as you would say, but the bank itself is getting no respect like Rodney Dangerfield because it's easy money. You can go suck any cock in the fucking whorehouse, the Mustang Ranch or the Bunny or the Rabbi Rabbit Bunny Ranch, and it's magic, abracadabra, but the bank is suffering because the bank vault's wide open. They're not paying the pimps anything, the pimps are paying, the bank, they ain't paying nothing. So the bank vault's wide open, big old gaping Madonna snatch. Anybody that wants to walk in, and disease is run rampant. I mean, literally, that's the metaphorical context as to what's going on. Louisiana has been butchered. Like I said, Louisiana is different. Regardless of what it's been turned into, it's supposed to be. It has a mission. It was supposed to be the law bank, accountability, balance, because of the several factions. The St. Louis Cathedral is actually accessing European and Latin American assets, and it's got the river, and it's just a balance. It's like the Bears and the Bulls. Well, what happened was the Bulls decided it's a lot easier if we don't pay our bills. So we're just going to they invaded the Bear Bank, took it over, and opened the door, and that's why you got best little whorehouse in Texas. Now, when I say Texas, Texas represents the Bears. I mean the Bulls. And Louisiana represents the Bears. But there's been a misnomer because of the Baylor Bears. So what happened is you got a competition. The Baptists want to control the Catholic assets. They did the whole trading places Freaky Friday. So now they're trying to play the card to where they control the assets of the bank, but they want to break the bank before they take over control. It's kind of like I'm trying to stop it. The bank. There's a run on the bank right now. They're trying to break the bank, and I'm trying to close the door and save a little. Try to see what we could salvage out of it. But right now, everybody's like, yeah, let's just run it into the ground. It'll make it a lot easier. They're pulling assets out of the Bear Bank, transferring them to individual accounts, and then forming new, they're planning on reconstituting the mutant force. It goes back to, but basically they want to control the assets because it's been misrun. I mean, honestly, we had no idea what the value was, individually, globally, nationally, and I've just recently uncovered all of this, and now that I'm starting to try to uncover a lot of this, I'm not allowed to access to any assets because they want to keep that gaping snatch wide open, and so anybody that wants can go in and get them a piece of asset, you know what I mean? So it's like all this game grid worship. So it's like forcing the law. It's like tango and cash. That's exactly, you had some cops that got put in general population. Well, that's what happened. The cops got put in general population, and they're forced to play the game grid. But we got hacked so low. I mean, literally, it would be like taking the upper echelon and taking the alpha and put them at the omega, and basically therefore trying to play your way back out, But all the meanwhile, I'm paying for the game to be played. You know, the game is being funded by the Alpha Bank that's wide open because, hey, nobody's there. Everybody's gone out. Nobody's doing anything about it. And then you've got all these different factions inflicting their code upon this. It's an identity crisis, reality. It's like Louisiana is stuck trying to play the games, whereas they should. It's like Rudy. Louisiana's like Rudy because it's a Catholic entity, whereas it's playing in the SEC, where mostly it's Baptist contingency. But the Baptists seem to have gotten a piece of the Presbyterians and the Methodists and Unitarians involved, and the evangelicals. So you've got Louisiana's trying to play, but they're missing the boat on what their mission was. They're playing in the wrong game right now. You know, they had a mission. Their mission was to be the bank, and they decided they're going to try to play, and they're funding the game. So right now everybody's cheering them on. Sure, sure. So Louisiana's got a bunch of traitors within its midst. I mean, they think they're cats. You know, there's no loyalty at all to it at all, and so basically they're playing the angles against each other. I'm trying to shut the door and do a little accounting, do a little figure out how much is missing, how many billions of dollars, and the global economy is suffering because of it. So the identity crisis is it's stuck trying to play these games and it's not supposed to be able to. It should be a global asset, but it should be playing global games rather than SEC games. But it's not. It got stuck playing those, and now you got people that are entrenched within it. And New York doesn't seem to want. It doesn't make any sense. New York I mean, I think that New York is threatened. California, I don't know why New York is not threatened by California, but they seem to be threatened. I guess it's because of my family that they're threatened, so they're going to squash us. You know, they're going to lock us out to do the dirty work. And so we're getting basically butchered. And I think it has to do with trying to control the Latin American European assets. But they horrifically managed it from the first place by allowing this free, crazy system to go crazy. You know, my idea with Louisiana, it should be a principality sort of state. Rather than playing the typical grid games, there should be different sorts of leadership. It's it's the identity crisis is it's stuck within the system. Uniformity, whereas it shouldn't be a uniformity state because it's got a different set of, not every state has access to trillions of dollars of global assets. Louisiana has a pipeline down there into Latin American, European assets. And so the game wants it to be, the game grid says, yeah, we want to plug into that. We're going to use it. And that's why any resistance, they throw money at it. But the bank itself, we're not paying one goddamn cent to the revenuers. Duke boys, they want a moonshine. Or it's actually a meth, cocaine, heroin lab, more equivalently, because they want to keep the free loot flowing. They think it's the Mississippi River of assets. They're trying to deem the Mississippi River is European and European assets and Latin American assets. So they want to control all of the assets, and I'm trying to shut the gate and do a little accountability, and I'm not allowed. They just discredit me, and that's why because I had such a vested, if you're worth $1 billion, we're going to hack you to death so you can't get to it. That's basically, and therefore the others can keep control of the assets. And it's like all in everything, everybody throw everything, and the precedences are pooling communal assets of annuities and pooling communal assets of public school, public health care, public road. That's why the public roads are worshipped so much, and the insurance precedences of why it's actually going on. And so what they're doing is they've created a bunch of these deities, and the deities are usurping power, but they don't want to admit such a vain source. They don't want to admit that they want to control. They want it really is. It's the bank itself is validating these deities through hostages. So the hostages validate the cash globally for these deities who want to keep the game going. The game is way overextended. I mean, look at the global economic system with how horrifically it's been run. I mean, it is in a shambles right now. I know what happened was they thought the people who decided they wanted to get this party, this was, this all started out as the whole Fox and the Hound run around. They thought they were going to get at, they wanted to get, it was all about, well, see, we could have been a powerful family, but they had to massacre me. I got massacred. I mean, literally making a few $1,000s a year my entire life, massacred, regardless, because they had to chop off my head so then they could get at all the cousins. They wanted to they had to impregnate all my cousins because they're desperate. They fucked us really, really, really bad. So they bribed the Louisiana mob bribed Texas. You got Texas on one side, who's in the womb, insider trading, sabotage with my mother. Then they bribed Georgia. Savannah got a lot of churches, and so Savannah is trying to launder the part of the heist. So they're dividing us up into pieces, the butchering part. But me, I'm just, the eldest heir is just beat to ever living shit down into the ground, hacked into pieces while they impregnate the cousins. Because I would have built a global empire. I would have married my cousins off to European, South American, Asian families. But no, we want to keep it all in Louisiana. We got to keep our slaves in the Caldwell Zoo because they fucked us so bad. Honestly, it's fear. Honestly, no doubt it's driven by fear. They are, addicted. They're like heroin or cocaine addicts. They are desperately addicted to the power that we provide. And they want to maximize, concentrate the power. They want it all. I want to they don't want us to build a global empire. They want Louisiana to be Rudy, They go the bench warmer that pays the bill. Water boy, Rudy the water boy, Mr. Deeds. Because they can walk in and take all the fucking loot they want. Free bitches, free money, whatever you want. Just get you a key and go get it. Free cars, hot wire, everybody get a Corvette. That sort of mentality. They want it free, free loot, wide open, gaping snatch, just go in and fuck everything you want, basically. That's how, the mob operates, that's bribery, right? Mardi Gras, party, everybody, all that sort of thing. And then it's this stupid game. And so my family, which should have built a global trade empire with Louisiana, then building a bank, a castle law bank. But they don't want that. The bull mob does not want bears. They hate the bears. And they'll always say, oh, that's the Russian bears, Well, barrister is a word for law in English. They hate the fucking English too. The bull mob hates everything that ain't free bread. They want free government cheese, They want it free. They don't want to pay a cent. It's all free. Nothing called, we'll pay our buddies, but we ain't gonna pay the fucking bank or the revenuers. We ain't paying nothing for electricity. We ain't paying nothing for know-how. It's free. Freedom. Live free or die. That's what this is all about. They ain't paying a fucking cent to the bank. They ain't paying no electric. They want free booze. They want free drugs. They want free power. They want it all free. No consequences. Debit, 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 debit. No credit, No balance sheet at all. We'll let the world pay. Europe will pay for it. The USA mob is so special that Europe is going to pay for it. That's how special the USA mob is. Europe is paying for the green fees. That's right. The USA mob is so VIP penthouse special that Europe is paying for them, man. Everybody's going to get down and bow. They're going to turn Mecca and put it over here in Savannah, and everybody's going to start bowing down to the USA VIP mob posing there on Vogue magazine, striking pose, Madonna. Literally, that's what's going on because they printed a ton of cash and built a bunch of franchises, to suck all the cash up. We got to let, that's the ultimate franchise player. And they think that's why Louisiana is. It's the franchise player bank. It's free loot. Anything goes, it don't matter. It's all freedom, they gonna fight to the death. Yeah, it's law and order. The USA bull mob does not like. They worship nickel and dime bureaucracy. It's like, well, the reason is there's so much forgery going on that the mob, the traditional mafia has learned, like in The Godfather 3, they went legit. Well, the traditional mafia learned all you have to do, forgery. Forgery is the best racket there is. Literally, you could just get you an ID and then you play in the casino and you fight, and get as much. But the wealth that they're producing has no balance sheet. I mean, they're just way overproducing wealth. And they're draining parts of the economy dry. And it all funnels through Louisiana. That's why they want to keep the bank vault wide open. That free. Oh, it's so funny. I mean, the games that are played. I mean, it would be like going into your banker, like me, putting a gun to my head and say, you gonna follow these, we don't negotiate with terrorists. That's the biggest fucking joke. The USA bull mob are the biggest fucking terrorists on the planet. Literally. They got guns to my family's head saying, spread your legs, give us some fucking baby hostages, or we gonna kill you. Literally, that's what's going on. Spread your legs, give us some, that's prying them legs open, and then give us some hostages, and we might let you go. We might feed you, we might feed you. The bull mob is so fucking, USA bull mob is so fucking special. They are VIP untouchable. They get paid to play. Europe is paying their fucking Reese Jones green fees. Woo, that's special. Now that is some VIP playing right there. Handicap fair, it's got to be handicap. That's why, it's sliced bread. That's golf. JV golf, you get if you eat any sandwiches, sliced bread, that's JV high school Texas golf. So your mama gets to control that. We control that whore like a fucking a bull, We ride that whore all around town. That's pride there. So Louisiana should have been a principality bear bank law. But the bull mob hates the fucking law. Dukes of Hazzard, they hate it. Boss Hogg even went dirty crooked. He turned into Porky's. He opened him up a stripper club. He went into the moonshining business with the Duke boys and decided to kill them some bears. Well, the bears are like big parts of land. And so what they're doing is shaving the land, and they're transplanting, they're scalping for fairways is what they're doing. Scalping for fairways. So they just built a ton of fairways as sort of a bribery. Well, now you're part of the mob, boy. Nobody pays a cent on these. I mean, they pay, but the reality of what's going on in accounting and economics, 16 trillion in national debt, 65 trillion in overall debt. There's something really wrong right there. It's because nobody's in control. You got the party system going on because it's body count, like Ice-T saying cop killer. How do you kill? I mean, basically it's, yo, bum rush the show, like Public Enemy used to sing, It's a stampede. Just trample over it and you just destroy the land, and hey, that's ours now. That's our mark on there. We done trampled it. We claim jumping, that's us. We're going to take over that. So I mean, the identity crisis is Louisiana never knew who it was regardless. You can blame the oil industry to a degree of what was going on there. It was absolutely insane, though, because the money that was generated, it's all in, I mean, there's really, I mean, if you look at certain states that developed from the resources, Louisiana was being butchered. I think it had outside influences controlling parts of it, but they had to keep Louisiana small and weak. And that especially they needed some high value hostages that were built up with that could provide international keys to the vaults. So my question is, what actually needs to be done? in order to fix the problem? I mean, that's the question is, I say you got to close the vaults, all this free money. I mean, the problem is, it's the Scrooged mentality. It's the maximum angles of exploitation. Sure, you can make some oil and you can turn that barrel of oil into a bunch of products, a car that goes. But the problem is who's driving the thing is, it's what you wear. It's like Colors, the gang movie, the Bloods and the Crips. They don't give a heck. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're driving a Ferrari, or if you're driving it's the size. A Ferrari costs $100,000, an Aston Martin, a Rolls Royce, but they're the same size as a Crown Victoria, but the size is what they're playing. That's part of this game grid mentality. There's no judgment involved because that car, they both can kill you. They're deemed equal, even though one costs one amount, one costs 300,000, one costs 20,000. They can both kill you. They're the same size, so they're equal. That's the mentality. Plus, the same gallon of gas powers them both the same. That's where you get into the circulatory electricity is all the same. That's the flaw in the system. You're not paying for your electricity. You're just paying for the end product. So you're worshiping the car. You're worshiping the house. It doesn't really matter. It's like possession's 9/10 of the law. So then you get into the ultra competitive fight over who can, stronger, especially when somebody can walk in and do whatever they want through manipulation in games. Well, the law is so easy to manipulate. Or you produce a plastic chair from petroleum. What's that chair really worth? The valuations on the end product. I have nothing against the oil industry itself. It's the screws, putting the screws to it, just maximization of exploitation, just cooking the books to where it's way overvalued. That's where the real problem is. And then there's really nobody's questioning it. It's just you've got to the way you value it is through producing more cash. Cash is everything. That's why you can buy anything with cash, and that's why I'm not allowed any cash, because you can buy things. The people that want to usurp my power they realize that the way they usurp my power is keep me make me weak while they become strong, using cash as the validator, even though I provide a lot of the keys and the power to it. So that's part of the problem. And I'm just not allowed. We're just kept as hostages for the most part in a zoo. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's the BLT, bears, lions, and tigers. Throw them all in the vat, and it's going to add to the mix. The problem is the cost of it just doesn't add up. The logic involved in this whole system is really screwed up and skewed, and I'm not really sure where it's going or what. It's like options. I have globally, because I have global influence, I have options, but I'm not allowed. The system itself, they'll give a nobody all the fucking money you want because they can't do nothing. They have no options, I guess to a degree, but they have no real power globally. I actually have power globally because of St. Louis Cathedral. But hey, that's a threat there. So they're going to beat me down and make me real small, because I have options. So then they got to humiliate me by giving me no options at all to really cosmetically enhance the bull mob system of body count, the body count, herds of cattle. How many herd of cattle you got there on your ranch? It don't matter what, it's just the head of cattle. That's all it is. That's the bull. That's like the law, that's the difference between, they're supposed to be the bears and the bulls. But it's not. The bears have been buried. Louisiana, New York sold their soul to the bull mob because they freaked out over 9/11, I guess, and they just decided, well, we're going to make a run on corner it. We're going to try to corner the market. They went nuts. It sounds like roid rage juice. When you get a juice head, they got roid rage. They went kind of crazy. They lost. You know, they took out Bear Stearns. You know, they wanted to play the bull side of the coin and take out Europe because they so fucking special with that Reese Jones green fees that Europe's going to pay their green fees. You know, scalp them bears. Give us some fairways over there at Bethpage or wherever. So, the solution is pay your energy bill. It ain't free. You know, just because you get a lease, what is it actually accessing? You know, where are you gaining? What is it, the product? You know, there's really the accountability in it. There's a huge gray area of exploitation. And the bank, it's a run on the bank. They're breaking the bank. They got insider trading, sabotage, pinning us down, brainwash. You know, it's that in your face, in your head, you know, we in your head, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, we can't do anything when you got a gun to my head. My family's divided, you know, we're on penny leashes just to make it handicap fair for the JV high school Texas golf. You know, that's the bullshit criminal intent mentality of because they want to get at them whales, you know. I mean, for fuck's sake, pay your fucking energy bill. It's a one-sided thing, you know. They're paying nothing, and you created a lot of individual wealth, and they're gonna, you know, what can you do? Nothing. The system itself is on the verge of catastrophe, absolute catastrophe. Hey, that don't matter. We had a party, you know. Let somebody else pay. That's how fucking VIP special you is. And you got a fucking pretty nice beautician too.